We're back with disturbing findings in a new report on sexual assault in the military. Personnel are more likely to be attacked on ships at sea, according to the new study commissioned by the Pentagon by the RAND Corporation.
13 News Now military reporter Mike Gooding spent the day digging into the report. He joins us now live with those details.
Well, and David and Jen, obviously this is very disturbing stuff. Of course, it is not the kind of news that Navy leaders would necessarily want to hear, but they are committed to fighting this problem of sexual assault and doing whatever it takes to stamp it out.
There you go.
Combating sexual assault has been a point of emphasis for the fleet for years. 13 News Now was on hand at Oceana in April when more than 250 sailors took part in a sexual assault awareness obstacle course and team building exercise. Now, a new report from the nonprofit global think tank, the RAND Corporation, shows there is still much work to do. The report concludes that sailors assigned to Navy ships at sea are far more likely to be sexually assaulted than service members at bases elsewhere. It's based on 2014 data that was gathered through more than 170,000 surveys of active duty service members collected by RAND. The report lists the top 10 commands where sailors are most at risk for sexual assault. Included in that list, in 6th place, is the Norfolk-based aircraft carrier USS George Washington, currently undergoing a midlife overhaul at Newport News Shipbuilding. In 7th place, the current Norfolk-based but soon to be transferred to San Diego aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln. Naval Air Force Atlantic Public Affairs Officer Commander Dave Hecht, in a statement to 13 News Now, said, "The Navy's people are our greatest asset. The Navy is committed to fostering a safe working environment for all sailors and civilians and will not tolerate any conduct that counters our core values." And Commander Hecht goes on to say, "We take sexual assault seriously and specifically want to understand the why presented by this data. Identifying protective and risk factors is essential to mitigating the risk of sexual assault for our sailors." Reporting live, Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.